Welcome back to All the Smoke, Miami, Art Basel.
Yes.
Shout out to the Lazy Susan house. Been blessing us this
We just smoked this
this
motherfucker
trip.
out.
Shout out Trey. Yes, indeed. Jack, I think we pride ourselves on making people feel comfortable enough to really express themselves because there's no hidden agenda, there's no tricks here. We genuinely care and love our guests, and I think today is a really special opportunity to find out what's going on with one of our favorite people. This dude has always been stand-up since day one I met him. Played against him in college, played with him in the pros, and just one of those real, genuine, good people.
Yep.
But he was also haunted by some shit, and it came to a tipping point. And correct me if I'm wrong, you just got out.
Yeah, man.
Monday.
6 days, bro.
It's been 6 days.
6 days. Free
Talk
at
to us.
last.
Welcome to the show, Keyon
Thank you,
Dooling, my brother.
Appreciate you. You already
Appreciate
know.
you, real
Bro.
Yeah.
My family love you
Yes,
too, boy.
yes.
You already know. You already know.
Let's you just told this is your first interviews. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Let's walk down what's been going on because a lot of people have kind of read stuff and heard stuff, but a lot of us really love you and really want to know from your mouth, are you good and what happened?
Oh, absolutely, Matt. So first off, thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of watching y'all growth in this space has been inspiring to me and to most of us, right? Because we all inspire and learn from one another. So
And you really know us too, so.
I know you're not. I know you're not.
I know you now.
But I'm good, man. I'm good. I think last 2 years probably been the most difficult season of life for me. And the good thing about seasons is that they don't last forever, right? They change, they grow, they evolve, and it's how you come out of that season, right? Do you get stuck in pity, embarrassment, guilt, shame, fear, whatever could stagnate you? You can get stuck in that, right? And this ain't the season of fear or stagnation. This is the season of redemption for me. This is the season to embrace the experience, the journey. Honesty, transparency, because I think especially for us as hoopers, we learn from one another, right? We learn from one another. We learn so much. We teach each other so much. Eddie Jones showed me how to tie my double Windsor tie. There's so many guys who, show you about work ethic and how to deal with the media and how to help your family and how to be a professional. So this is an opportunity for us to learn from mistakes, learn from adversity, and embrace that shit.
Yeah.
Right? Don't be afraid of what you go through. You grow through it.
No, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
A bunch of NBA brothers went down with the health insurance
Yeah.
situation. Our brother Glenn Davis
Yeah.
just sat down, and a few other people. But talk to us about how that came about across your plate and why you chose to participate in it.
Yeah. So, I try to be very clear on the fact that it was just a bad judgment. It was a mistake. It was greed. It was trying to, navigate in a wrong way. I didn't wait on God for opportunities, to open up for me. I saw not even an opportunity. I won't call it an opportunity. I saw a lick, so to speak, right? Obviously, we had the supplemental benefits card. If you played long enough, you have a lot of money on that card, and that's supposed to be for, medical, dental, vision.
Not only you, but your family.
Yep, you and your family. And if you don't use it, you lose it. And I saw it sitting there, and I saw, it's a brotherhood league or whatever. And I'm not pointing a finger at anybody, but I got exposed to it. Some cash was moving around doing that, and I decided to do it. And man, the worst decision I made in my entire life. And, I embrace it. I'm apologetic for it. And you know what I mean? Like, that's why I'm open to speaking about it, right? Because I don't want anybody else to put themselves in harm's way. I don't want anybody to bite that apple from that tree in any way, shape, or form. And so I decided to do it and made that mistake. But I did my time for it. did 18 months in federal custody, 10 months in, 6 months halfway house, 2 months home confinement. And I'm here, right?
What were those days like, though? Because, again, and we're going to dig into it, your childhood, well, we're going to talk about what happened there, but you beat that.
Oh, yeah.
You went on to college. You beat college. You went on to the league, and you were at the top of the mountain.
Oh, yeah.
So to have that, to have you personally step away from the game, and then next thing you know, a handful of years later, you're in locked up. What was that like?
Well, I mean, it's a whirlwind somewhat, right? Because like when you go through things like unhealed trauma, it's stored in your body, right? And if somebody touches the right button, pokes the right button, we could be triggered.
Absolutely.
And coming from an environment where I come from, I'm from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, the heart of the city. And like it's a lot of shit that we experienced growing up that we push down, right? And when you hooping, man, you're so busy accomplishing and becoming, and there's always these benchmarks that you're trying to achieve that you don't really get to process the journey, what you've seen, gunshots, molestation, poverty. It brings a certain amount of trauma. And I think like what we're so fortunate about is that like we were able to channel that shit into hoops. We was able to go out and put that energy into something positive. And I think we came up in a time where the game was really starting to grow. The AAU scene was starting to grow. We had some transformational players during that time. I played AAU with T-Mac and Udonis and, a lot of guys from, the state of Florida. Kobe had just came out. So I was able to channel, that into basketball. And, one thing about me is I was able to dig deeper than most people. I was super athletic, super quick. But like that dog, it was other people who were super athletic, quick, could do everything with it, but I could do it longer and harder and dwell there. And so I was able to, channel a lot of that trauma into my hoops, but it's still there because a certain amount of challenges come as you elevate and you take on so much for your family, for your community, from your homeboys and people who you come up with. There's so many expectations and entitlements that are hard to navigate. And the programming wasn't as good then. You know what I mean? And the culture around the game wasn't as good. It wasn't as professional. And you go through these different phases, right? So when I got indicted, I was coaching. It was right after Game 6. I was coaching with the Utah Jazz. I've been around the game of basketball. It's the only thing I know. Working for the Players Association, working for the Celtics in the front office, coaching for the Utah Jazz. I've always been around the game. And, when that knock came, that phone call, about 4 or 5 in the morning, 5 calls in a row, I was like, oh, something's going on. Looked outside, the feds were there. 5, 6 cars, strapped up to the T, right? And, I just had to go back and, tell my wife, like, look, babe, I'm about to go to jail.
Had there been any previous discussion about anything going on, or was this the first time you kind of sprung it on her?
No, I sprung it on her.
Ooh,
I
shit.
sprung it on her. Hey, dude, I
Right.
didn't know I was going to get indicted, right? So they did a superseding indictment for me. So the first group of guys went through their situation probably a year,
He couldn't tell her that.
Previous-
She wasn't going to support that.
No, she wouldn't. She wouldn't. And, a lot of times as men, being vulnerable is very difficult. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm here to protect and provide.
And when you can't do that, or when you at the point where you don't, I understand, bro. I understand. Fully.
Yep.
I understand totally.
Yep. And one of the most difficult things I had to grapple with is that, dude, I didn't have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's where a lot of my internal work came, in sitting down. It's like, okay, you made a decision that hurt your family, ultimately. Not just your family, bro. You hurt your community. You hurt your friends. You hurt your allies in the basketball space who love you, adore you, respect you, appreciate you, because I did a lot of good work.
A lot of great work.
A lot of good work, and mentored a lot of young men. Potty trained them, as I like to say.
This small situation can't overshadow that, though.
I don't think so.
This small situation will not overshadow all the good work.
don't
you
think
did.
so.
Yeah, and I agree with that, Steve. But when you're in it, right,
Right.
it gets really silent. It's really cold.
Mm-hmm.
And people who, you were in relationship with, in friendship with, with bonds that go back 20 years, won't pick up the phone, won't check on your family. It's not a lot of guys who checked up on my wife and my kids while I was away, but the ones who did, you know what I mean? And the ones who were supportive, I thank God for them, right? Because sometimes you have to go through adversity to see who really fucks
Right.
with you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I'm so thankful, you know what I mean, that so many of my friends, not so many, but a handful of my friends, my old teammates, some of the guys who I grew up with, and then some unlikely people, right? People who you might know, y'all might have a great relationship, but you didn't know they love you like that. You love me more than some of the people who I, had to take care of.
You gave the most too.
And so you deal with all those different elements, right? And you try and process them, and you try and learn from them, and you try and be accountable for them. I think that's when the real change comes, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the accountability part of your mistakes, the fallout. And just because guys, got silent and cold, I ain't mad at them for that. I went through the angry phase, It could be fear associated with that. Some of those guys could have been doing some of the things that kind of got me locked up that they might be intimidated by.
Right.
And so it's just a part of the game. It's a part of the experience. But it's like the anger and the resentment and the oomph that I felt, I don't have that anymore.
What did you learn about yourself during this process?
Man, you know what? I learned one, that I'm not invincible. I'm not Superman.
But they build us up to be that.
Yeah, they do. And not only that, we have to have that internal confidence in ourselves in order to, ascend to the levels that we like. Dude, we played how many years did you play?
14.
14. I played in 13 seasons, right? Like even within the elite group of the NBA, there's not many people who got that 10 in.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's a certain amount of, Superman syndrome that we embrace. Like, hey man, I loved being able to help my family and my friends and inspire and, bring sustenance to them when they needed something and things like that. So you embrace that, right? But, with that virtue, with that giving, when it's not reciprocated, man, it could make us isolate. It can make us go deeper into drinking, smoking, being promiscuous, being angry, making bad decisions. You know what I mean? Because we give so much virtue and then we're not getting anything back. You know what I mean? And so then you start to even question the people around you, like, you know what I mean? How they really view you. So, and going through this, what did I learn about myself? I learned that I'm a resilient motherfucker. I learned that I stand on business. I don't have no snitch in me, no cut in me. You know what I mean? Like, when the folks came and knocked on my door, I accepted, the responsibility that came with it. I wasn't gonna put anybody's family through what me and my family was experiencing.
So rules.
You know what I mean?
Not many live by that no more.
I learned, I also learned that the decisions that we make can have such an impact on the people who rely on you.
And love you.
You know what I mean? What we bring to our families, what we bring to our careers, what we bring to the buildings where we bring this energy, this swagger, this confidence, this authenticity, and you let those folks down. Man, that was very difficult for me to grapple with. I lost about 30 pounds during the indictment process.
Really? And you already kind of a thin.
Yeah, I'm already thin as wind.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I lost about 30 pounds. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I was embarrassed. I was concerned for my family because I was facing some time. So I was very fortunate to get 30 months.
Was there a part during that, not to cut you off,
No, go
was
ahead,
there
buddy.
a part during that clicked? Like when you were in there, was there a part that clicked? Like you said you went through all these emotions from frustrated to embarrassed. Was it a part where, okay, was it in there when you realized you needed to turn the page or when you got out? Like when was that?
Yeah, it was in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in there because, like when you're incarcerated, bro, you're on lockdown a lot. You're on lockdown a lot, my 10 months in there, we probably was locked down for 3 of those months where you necessarily can't go outside. The TV rooms might be locked. You know what I mean? No commissary. You know what I mean? Like, it's a whole bunch of things that happen in that environment that, you know, most people don't know about. They don't understand. Well, I understand it now. That's why I'm so, that's why I want to be a voice, you know, for, you know, some reform and some accountability, you know, within what goes on with guys who are incarcerated. But something clicked in my writings. You know, as hoopers, dog, we got to be routine based. So I got my routine. I jumped on my routine soon as I got there. You know, the first night I did not shower. I didn't want to go to the restroom. You know what I mean? I just really wanted to kind of sit there, right? But the bros in there wouldn't let that happen. You know what I mean? They came, brought me a bag because we was locked down. So they brought me some shoes, brought me some commissary, brought me some clothes and things like that. It's really humbling, brother. It's really humbling. I took a lot of pride in my swag, in my attire.
Always.
You know?
Clean.
And, you know, to have to wear grays and browns is very humbling.
What was it like in there with obviously the hit where you came from? You came from the NBA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You played with some of the greatest players. You were special in your own way. Did that help in situations? That fuck you up in situations? Like, how was that?
Well, it was twofold with that. I think initially it was difficult because being high profile in that system, you know what I mean? A lot of times, you know, it could just bring a certain element.
It's a target.
Yeah, you can bring a certain element from the officers, you know, from, you know, the inmates alike, right? And everything you do is being watched. So the way you carry yourself, who you're speaking to, you know what I mean? Like, you know, just everything, you know, the radar was kind of on me. But, you know, what I just did is I just went and did what I know. Treat people with respect, you know what I mean? Learn the rules of the environment that you're in. Be authentic, be routine-based, not rely on anybody for anything, you know what I mean? Get with the right people who, you know, you can work out with, cook and eat with.
Did you have to put them paws are sharp? Did you have to put them paws on? I saw them in action.
I did not have.
You didn't have to put them paws on nobody?
No, I didn't have to throw my knuckles at all. You know, like, now I saw some shit in there. You know, there was a riot while I was there. You know, I saw some stuff happen. You'll be really surprised at like how quick shit can change in there, right? No, I didn't have to throw hands with anybody. I had a couple disagreements or anything, you know, like that, but, you know, nothing that I couldn't verbally work out. So, you know what I mean? Like my manhood wasn't tested or anything like that, you know? And I ain't no small dude. I'm skinny and small, like in our space, but we like Nephilims. We like Anunnaki. Like we ain't like natural humans. We like super huge, right? So yeah, no, I didn't have to throw my knuckles.
What I took from all that is you know, when I retired too, I went through a little time, and you said something that resonated to me, and I heard this more than anything you said. And I think everybody's guilty of that at some point in their life when they thinking that I can get up and just do what I want to do or make something happen. But I had a situation where I had to sit and wait on God too. So that shit touched me, bro. Yeah. Because I had a time when I retired where I had to sit and wait on God too. Yeah. And he brought him in my life. So yeah. I felt you on that. Yeah, no. And we all have to learn from that, bro. Yeah. We all have to learn from that.
Well, the Bible tells me, man, that the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, right? Now, on my vision board, I had that I wanted to be a coach. It was what I was trying to work to become. And a year and a half after, you know, I was, you know, hustling with what I got locked up for, coaching opportunity came, right? And so, you know, it was so anticlimactic for me because, like, you know, the apex of one of my goals to be able to be around the game and to learn from Quinn Snyder, who was my college coach, and he trusted me to hire me.
Good dude.
And something that I had done in the past, you know what I mean, came to kind of knock me off that. Man, it broke my heart, not only for myself and my family, but Quinn. I let Quinn down. That was my college coach. I was his first pro. I loved the dude. And to go down on his watch, you know, really hurt.
You guys got a chance to talk?
Through text. You know, I keep in touch with a few of the guys from my coaching staff, but like, man, I got really authentic and good relationships with some really and good authentic people. So anybody who I didn't speak to or anything like that, it could be two things. You know, one, maybe they ain't fuck with me like how I thought, or two, they could be afraid of the stigma associated with what I've gone through, right? You know, the affiliation of somebody who's gone down, because that is a real thing. When you're a felon, man, you know, it is like it's like a A on your chest. It's an F on your chest. And in our industry, that's not common.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not common in our industry because, like, in our industry, you almost have to be flawless at every intersection. And when you get a stain on it, you can be replaced. And so, yeah, man, it's just a part of it.
Fort Lauderdale upbringing, same as T-Mac and VC, Amara in Florida. Paint the picture.
Well, man, I grew up in the 80s, man. And it was so awesome growing up in the 80s. We got a car culture down here. We ride donks. We like, you know, it was the 80s. It was dope boy central. You know what I mean? A lot of narcotics was coming through this area. So it was great growing up there in a sense because we had a sense of family, sense of community. You know, you knew somebody who knew your people. So it still was like that generation. It felt like old school.
Takes a village.
It takes a village, but you saw the impact of crack and how that impacted the family. Like you really saw the change like pretty quickly. And, you know, just growing up down in South Florida, man, we're big on sports. So, you know, basketball, football, especially. We play in the street football, you know what I mean? We you know, football during football season, basketball during basketball season. So I grew up, man, in a time where I think it was very unique and it was fun. It shaped me, right, on my journey. And man, I got a soft spot for Fort Lauderdale. I love being from the crib. I love what's happening in Florida. Obviously, it's a football state, but we're kind of changing that a little bit. It's so much talent. We always had great athletes with Dog. But now, man, you know, with a lot of the skills trainers, Stan Remy from Remy Workouts, there's a lot of guys who are training our athletes now with skill and precision. So I'm excited on, like, you know, what the future holds for Florida's basketball.
Hoop fans, right now you can get in on all the action with my partners at DraftKings Pick 6. New customers play $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now. Sign up using the promo code SMOKE only at DraftKings Pick 6. Getting started is simple. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now. Sign up using the promo code SMOKE. Pick at least 2 players and choose if they'll have more or less of a stat. Like, will they score 20 points or more, or will they have 3 or more assists? So go download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now. Use promo code SMOKE. Only at DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. This episode is presented by Coors Light. Choose chill.
Go to CoorsLight.com/smoke to get Coors Light delivered straight to your door.
Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Before you start this, in the memory of our great friend Pat McAfee, pass me a Coors Latte.
Coors Latte.
Thank you.
The holidays are far from perfect, but that doesn't mean we have to lose our chill. So instead of letting the stress get to me, I take a step back and I choose chill. Then I reach for an ice-cold Coors Light, straight from Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Their windows are filled with bright, colorful lights. And the Coors Light can even get you in the holiday spirit too. The mountains on the bottles turn blue when they're as cold as the Rockies. When you embrace the chill mindset this holiday, it's a good time to choose chill and crack open a cold Coors Light. It's mountain cold refreshment and crisp as refreshing as the Rockies. So choose chill this holiday season and reach for a cold Coors Light. To get Coors Light delivered straight to your door, go to CoorsLight.com/smoke, or you can pretty much get it anywhere alcohol is sold. Always remember, celebrate responsibly.
We all had our own reasons for becoming, you know, men at a young age, me growing up in a single parent home. I think you had your own situation that forced you to be a man at a young age. Can you talk about it?
Yeah, man. I mean, obviously, you know, everything on your journey that you experience is an opportunity for growth, right? And they ain't all sweet. So, you know, when I was a child, I went through sexual abuse. And, you know, I pushed that down and didn't really deal with that until I was in my early 30s. You know, the guilt, the fear, you know what I mean? Also just not enough information about that, right? Because, you know, a lot of times you just don't know how to respond when you're 7, 8 years old. And so, you know, it forced me to grow up and toughen up a little bit, you know what I mean? But it also made me start drinking early. It make me start smoking early, being promiscuous with my body very early. And it also like made me a little bit more angry. You know what I mean? Like if somebody tried me or if, somebody touched me inappropriate, like, I'm willing to like go all the way there. And so, I had to learn and work through that. And, it's something that like as a man, it's difficult to talk about. But we do the difficult, man. Like as at the end of the day, if we don't share these stories and share these experiences, man, we could be neglecting one of the little young bros coming up behind us.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I think like we gotta transfer this information, good, bad, or indifferent. And I think a lot of times, man, we just don't share the information, the good information enough, the real authentic information enough. And that's why I love you guys' platform, man, because you guys throw it off the backboard for guys to really be able to come and finish, and I love it. But yeah, that's a part of the journey. I wrote a book about it and, it's a part of my story.
We're saying that and sharing your story, what's some signs that we can look out for kids in the hood that might be going through that? Yeah,
so few things, if kids are experiencing anxiety, if you see, a certain amount of anger, right? If you notice, promiscuous behavior, substance, them starting to smoke maybe too early and things like that, or isolation. Those are some things. But like one of the best things like as men we could do for our families is have those conversations. Sit your boys and your girls down and say, hey, look, this is a healthy touch. This is your private part. Don't let nobody touch this. Don't let nobody do that. If something ever happens,
tell us.
You let me know. And so that communication, because a lot of times that usually happens from somebody close enough to be able to touch you. So a family member, a friend,
close family friend.
Older siblings, friend who may, so sleepovers and things like that are like out of the question for my kids. Unless somebody come into my house. And I know that might sound like a little bit like unfair, but y'all can come to my house, but y'all ain't going to nobody's house. It just is what it is.
When did basketball become life for you?
I think basketball became life for me, man, at probably about 4 or 5 years old. I'm the youngest of 4 kids, and my older brother played college ball at HBCU, Bethune-Cookman. And, I just fell in love with the game, man. My dad loved the game. I could dribble the ball really good, really early. Like I could dribble anything. And, man, I had an incredible imagination. So, like, you see this table right here? That was a defender. I'm Euro stepping the table. You know what I mean? You see the top of the door right there? Oh, that's a rim. Every time I'm going in the bathroom, I'm dunking and so I had this imagination for myself. And then I had this incredible work ethic that I wanted to develop that talent. And then my big brother was nice. He was small, but he was nice. So he was like taking me through drills and stuff like that. So I fell in love with the game at a very early age. When I got indicted, man, I thought I lost my love for the game. I was like, man, the basketball world won't embrace me anymore. All the things that I've done and I've accomplished, will be minimized. And boy, was I wrong. Because soon as I got, to Coleman, man, I became the commissioner of the basketball league. You know what I mean? I'm training guys, on the court, like literally scheduling like people like want me to train them. So I was like, man, I can't run from this game. It's a part of my DNA. It's what I love. It's my love language. I love this shit, bro. I love this game, man. And I love what it can do for you, what it's allowed us to experience. I've been to 14 countries. I've been to 44 states. You know what I mean? I met some incredible people. I've seen and experienced some amazing things. I've ate some good restaurants. You know what I mean? Like I've seen a lot of shit because of this game. And I love it. And I will never let anybody take that from me.
Right. Can't do it.
Yeah, I never let that happen.
When did you know you was nice?
Oh, high school. It's like I knew I was a good player coming up or whatever. I was a little bit small. But like when I got to like 11th grade, going into senior year and shit like that, I was like, something was different. Man, I used to run in the pool with my shoes on. I would go to the beach and train. You know what I mean? And one day I went to sleep, I was slapping backboard. Next day I woke up, I was putting my arm in the rim. You know what I mean? So it wasn't the day that happened, it was all the work leading into that moment,
Yeah.
right? You know what I mean? So like I just always tell youngsters, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, you put the work in, you put the work in and, incrementally you can develop that talent. Like, I feel like the biggest room in all of our lives is the room for improvement. Like, we can get better at it. So if you're deficient, with your left hand, you can work on it. If your jump shot is broke, you can work on it. You know what I mean? Now, one thing that's hard to teach is that dog.
Yeah, you got to be born with that.
You know what I'm saying? Now I've seen some like being around a person like yourself or a person like you, or even like how I played the game. I've helped young
Find
boys.
it.
Yeah, I've like you able to like indoctrinate or put some dog in them or like, a little bit, but you are who you are when it comes to that dog.
Yeah.
I got a question though, because all three of us had it, and all three of us had somewhat traumatic childhood experiences and traumas. And to be able to focus that energy into fire, like you said, it comes out in different ways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know my upbringing fueled a lot of the snappiness, me wanting to slap people, the fights, on edge, you know what I mean? Like to be able to turn something negative and use it as a chip or fire, that's a unique, because not everybody can do that. And most of the times, and not speculating or making it a blanket situation, people like that have gone through some real shit. You know what I mean? Like we don't choose to just be on edge or be they're like, we were turned into that.
Man. Life happens. Shit happens, right? And a lot of it comes out in a lot of different ways. Like going back to it, the game of basketball is so great, right? Because not only can we channel that energy into our sport, but the resources that we are exposed to early in life, the speakers that we've heard, you know what I mean? The programming that we've, gotten the opportunity to be exposed to. Most people don't get that. So they don't necessarily know what emotional intelligence is. They don't know what their triggers are. It's certain things they just haven't been exposed to the information enough. So when we have these talks and things like that, the great thing about it is that people watch and they can see a piece of themselves in us. And like, okay, like damn, maybe I didn't recognize that I snapped because of this. Maybe I got to go back to that childhood. So therapy, man, is therapeutic.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, well, like at what age?
We get numb to shit.
Because
So
I
much
took,
shit happen.
like I was at one point in 2 different types of therapy post-retirement. You know what I mean? When did you realize like, okay, I fought as long as I could fight by myself. I need some real help.
For me, look, I didn't feel like I needed therapy until I got triggered and I lost it. And it took about 2 weeks for me to when I say I lost it, I lost it. Like I was out of there. I spent 4 days in a mental institution.
You did something, you was on the street or did something?
So, I'm in the restroom in Seattle, Washington. You remember the Big Assist that we used to do when we give up all the stuff, in these different communities. And man, a guy grabbed my butt while I was peeing, bro. And man, when I tell you, like, it's like I turned into like the Hulk. Like it's like all this energy.
But as you said, it's instant.
It's in that moment.
I
lost it, and like as I was trying to calm down, I was like, damn, why did I lost it so quick? Like, and then all these little memories that I had compressed down start popping back up from my childhood. And damn, I haven't talked about that in a minute.
Take your time, bro.
So when I talk about those triggers, like I want everybody to kind of know those things so you can do preventative things, so we don't let people take us there. So we know we're in more control. Because like in that moment, you could lose it and your family can suffer. You can hurt yourself, you can hurt others, you could become a danger to yourself and others. So for us, especially guys like us who've seen a lot of shit, we gotta know them triggers and try and avoid them as much as we can.
Ended up at Mizzou, Big 12 hoops.
Yeah.
How was that being in Missouri?
Man, Mizzou was great, man. Mizzou was great. I enjoyed my college experience.
Y'all had some talent over there.
We did.
Was Quinn your coach both years?
No, so I got an opportunity to play for Norm Stewart my first year, and then Quinn Snyder my second year. And man, I had some great teammates in Mizzou. It was a great little college town, and had a lot of fun at Mizzou. Good recruiting. They say, how did you guys end up in Missouri? That's good recruiting. You know what I mean? They call it NILs now.
Now say
You played against Jamaal Tinsley too while you was there.
Yeah, man. When Tinsley came in,
Shout out JT.
JT could spin in a phone booth. Like,
Word.
So he came in, I didn't know who he was. I think he came from like JUCO or something like that, right? And we went in there, like the year before, we ran through Iowa State. Like, yeah, we were running through that, right? They had Marcus Pfizer, they had a nice little squad, but then they get this point guard. So I'm picking up full court. Like I'm turning him. And he acting like I'm not even there. He's spinning, he inside and out and 8, 9, 10 times. And you look up, he had like 10 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds. He had a triple-double in college in the Big 12. And I'm like, dog, who is he? Man, Jamaal was cold. He was tough. Yeah, I tell you.
You had that one dunk on old boys at Kansas.
Yeah,
when they
it was
called
at
the charge.
Kansas.
That was probably one of the worst right here. That was what do you see when you see young KD right here? What do you think?
Well,
You used to fly.
yeah,
bro.
I used to get off the
used to
ground.
really get up in the air.
They called that a charge. The dude didn't fall,
Unbelievable.
anything like that. But it's Kansas in Lawrence. You know, they gonna cheat.
Who is that? 32. Who is that?
Never been
I
heard
think
from
his name is
since.
like Ashanti Johnson or something like that. I don't want to butcher the brother's name.
Look at him. Couldn't believe it.
I was like, you ain't trying to see me go to the league. They hating on me.
Young KD.
They hating on me.
Yeah.
You got any good Quentin Snyder stories?
Yeah, like man, Quentin is, full of energy, full of life, got a heart of gold, super smart, super talented, but he was young when he coached me in college. So he still was active, right? Still could dunk, all that, right? But one day we was doing a charge drill and, you know what I mean? I guess we wasn't doing the drill right. So Quinn put himself in the drill. And he had this cat who was like a grad assistant at the time, I think Jason Sutherland. And Jason was a country Midwest, like wild boy, right? Strong, stocky, like just a thundercat. So Jason, Quinn's positioning himself to take the charge. So Jason tries to kind of go up soft on him. Quinn pushed him out there. Fucking run me over. Yeah, in the chest. So he looked around, he peeled his ears back, and he went up and he went up. Quinn took the charge, and that's how you take a fucking charge. When you take a charge, he threw his Rolex, all that. Man, I think Quinn still got back problems to this day.
Really?
From that charge. To this day, I still think Quinn.
That before?
Pop did?
Got out there and started taking charges, trying to show people how to tell that. Pop did the same
Man, I
thing
think
before.
Quinn's still stretching his back. 'Cause of that.
I want to rewind because we didn't ask, but T-Mac.
Yeah, Matt.
What was because I'm not mistaken, he's 1 year older than us, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But he might have been killing out here, but he jumped on the national scene just all of a sudden. Then he was going from high school to the pros.
Yeah, man.
What was
T-Mac.
playing with him like?
T-Mac's from Polk County, so I think he was at Arbondale before he went to Mount Zion. And you look back at his numbers and he was killing, but it's a small town. So we didn't know who he was. So we met T-Mac at Adidas camp and Mac was like, oh, I'm from Florida. We all playing together. Y'all come watch me play. So we go and we roll up and we go watch T-Mac play. Now he's unknown. Nobody knows who he is at this point.
And he's going to be a junior or a senior?
He's going into his senior year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So we go see this guy play, man. And I had never seen somebody that skilled, that athletic, that smooth, that fast with the ball. Because T-Mac was super fast. Like he was tall and he was smooth and all that. But his first step, he was real twitchy with it. And so we got to play that summer with him. Matter of fact, he windmilled on somebody in the All-Star game. Like he windmilled on this cat in the All-Star game. I saw all the college coaches, NBA scouts, lose their professionalism. You know,
That's a good way
like
to
they was
put
at the Rucker run, like they was at the, he cleared the gym. He windmilled on somebody at the All-Star game. And so we got to play that summer together, and to see his development and his focus. He knew what he wanted. He killed the whole summer. I mean, it was just amazing to watch T-Mac.
Florida Flash?
Florida Flash.
We played y'all. Yeah, I don't know where we played you guys at.
Probably in Long Beach
it was
Vegas.
nasty. It
You
was
know,
nasty
we had a
work.
squad, man,
Yeah.
like 11, 12 D1 players up from that squad. Adidas, Sonny Vaccaro, Elvis Smith, those guys, man, they really were good for our lives at that point. You know what I mean? We really needed that exposure.
Yep.
And, you know, Mac was just an incredible talent, man. And, you know, because we played with Mac, we got more exposure. That's when my ranking and stuff started going up. So we have a unique way of like getting lucky and being around the right people at the right time that helps you get to your destiny.
What up, y'all? I'm here to tell you guys about Rhone, my new favorite clothing brand. Rhone lets you look good without having to think about it. Winter and fall need their own wardrobes, so I need comfort and the ability to layer. But I also gotta stay warm. Rhone's Commuter Collection is the most comfortable and breathable set of products I've ever tried. The Commuter Collection is treated with Gold Fusion and anti-odor technology. It allows me to get more wears in between washes. You'll be fresh and clean all day long. Rhone has a premium piece to elevate every occasion. We're talking about the world's most comfortable pants, dress shirts, quarter zips, polos, and blazers, all boosted with functional performance properties. I personally love the versatility and freshness. The Commuter Collection gets me right for any occasion, and the wrinkle-free technology works as hard as they do. Every piece is perfectly packable for travel. So head to rhone.com/smoke. Use the promo code SMOKE and save 20% off your next order. That's 20% off your entire order when you head to rhone.com/smoke. Use the code SMOKE. It's time to embody your most confident self. You know you want those Wingstop boneless wings. With the boneless meal deal from Wingstop, you get 20 boneless wings, 4 delicious flavors, an order of large fries for $16.99. Mango habanero, OG hot, and my favorite, lemon pepper. What are y'all waiting on? More wings, more flavor, more bang for your buck. The boneless meal deal from Wingstop. Order now at wingstop.com.
Feeling lucky? All bets are on Bookie, the hilarious comedy from Chuck Lorre and Nick Bakay. Starring Sebastian Maniscalco as an old-school bookmaker just trying to stay alive in a world of bad beats. Does the house always win? Find out on Bookie, now streaming on Max. Please watch responsibly.
What up, y'all? This holiday season, make sure you're sleeping comfortably, knowing your house is protected. If you ever worry about the safety of your home or your family, right now is the best time of the year to get security. Our friends over at Simply Safe are extending a massive Black Friday deal for all of you. It's the home security I trust to keep my family safe. Make sure you're locking in a peace of mind with Simply Safe's lowest prices of the year. Old school systems can only take action if someone's in your house, and that's too late. Simply Safe is a new way to protect your home and stops an intruder before they break in your home. Their active outdoor protection changes the game by preventing the crime before it happens. Simply Safe is extending a massive Black Friday deal for all the Smoke listeners. This week only, you can get 50% off a new system with selected professional monitoring plans. This is your last chance to claim the best offer of the year. Head over to simplysafe.com/smoke to claim your discount and make sure your home is safe this season. Don't wait, this offer won't last long. Keep your home and your family safe with a peace of mind with Simply Safe. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
2002 draft.
2000. For me.
Excuse me, 2000. I was 2002.
You was 2002.
You came out early.
Yeah,
Because you was nice.
Them they make me feel old.
Donald Sterling selects you with the 10th pick in the Los Angeles Clippers.
Youngins.
First of all, what was that experience like being drafted? It's a lottery pick. You
Yeah.
coming to LA. You're a small town guy.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
Coming to LA. What was that?
Man, it was dope, man. I didn't get invited to the draft. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get invited to the combine. So I did 12, 13 pre-draft workouts. And it was some cats ducking me during that time. So,
Who was in that draft ducking? You talked to him.
I mean, I ain't gonna, it was just, let's just say I didn't get to work out against everybody.
Okay.
But when I ran into guys, it was,
Smart.
I was able to separate myself during that draft process a little bit. But it was dope with the Clippers because, man, me, Q, and D all
babies.
Me, Q, D Miles got drafted together. So we got to experience a lot of firsts together. And, man, it still was some of the most fun I think I've ever had playing basketball. We just weren't good. You know, you can't win with a lot of young players.
It was an older league at that point too.
It was a grown man league. It was a grown man league. The resources that the Clippers had were very minimal. They didn't have an environment that would cultivate your talent.
That's kindly put.
That was my first year in the league.
Yeah.
Practice out Southwest Community College.
Yeah.
You used to have to leave the back doors open so people didn't break in your cars. There was
4
no
years.
showers. There was no real lot. You shared a locker room with like regular students.
Yeah.
Like, what was it like? So you get the idea. I'm drafted. I'm a lottery pick. I'm going to the NBA, and then the resources are less resources than you had in college.
Yeah.
Like, how was that?
It was tough, man. You didn't feel like you was in the league, you know? You just didn't feel like you was in the league. You couldn't go back to the gym and work on your jumper if you want. You know, I struggled with my shooting early in my career, and I just couldn't put enough.
No extra time.
Yeah, it just wasn't. The environment wasn't good enough for that amount of young talent. And so it staggered. I feel like I got staggered in my development, and it wasn't until I went to Miami that I learned how to be a pro. And Stan Van Gundy and Pat Riley, man, the Heat culture, it's a real thing.
We're gonna get back to that,
Okay.
but I want to get some more LA.
Okay. There you go.
What was LO like? How nice was LO?
Man, LO was super nice, man. LO, man, 6'11", can dribble, pass, shoot. Man, what a nice human being.
Great dude.
Man, LO is
Coolest
just,
dudes
you know, LO is just a lot of fun, super charismatic, shit talker extraordinaire. Like, LO was that dude, man. Just a good dude, man. We barbecued, we fish fried pretty much every day out there. We kicked it in LA.
It was beautiful. Like, were you guys in Playa?
Yeah, we was down in the
Yeah.
marina.
Yeah, marina.
I don't even think Playa, they was still developing
Okay.
that. We was down in the marina. And
Living good.
When I tell you every day was a Saturday, we had a lot of fun. But LO, man, he had a heart of gold. You know what I mean? Super talented, super humble. Just an all around good man. You know what I mean? And this generation right here, the things that kind of got Lamar in trouble, you know, he could smoke freely now.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. The Q Rich and D Miles knucklehead
Yes, sir.
energy. What was that like? Because although you guys weren't good, y'all was still popping in LA.
Absolutely.
Popping in LA.
Absolutely. So I played against Q like probably at 12. Me and Q, I've known Q Rich since I was 12 years old. You know, one of my best friends on the planet. And man, Q was a dog. And when we would go in the summer times to UCLA and things like that, like the battles that Q would have with Paul and those guys, I'm like, Q, dog, you know we in Cali, bro. Like, man.
You didn't give a
Like Q is like,
Q.
He trained to go. But Q was super talented. We played USA together, man. Those my brothers right there. And D Miles, man, young D Miles. Man, young D Miles was a wizard, man. Played both ends, you know, played with a motor, had a high basketball IQ.
6'11".
6'11", probably 7'4" wingspan. Could handle the rock, great mid-range game. Had a passion for playing, was a really good passer. And man, it was a lot of fun playing with those guys, man. Q and D is to this day, man, like especially like through this process, man. Them guys been all the way 100. All the way 100. I love Q and D. Those my boys.
So speaking of Q, brings me to my first practice with you guys.
Okay.
That's why they so tight.
I walk in the gym. Yeah, I'm tight with Rico because of that.
Yeah.
Rico fought in college. But I walk into the gym, my first NBA practice, y'all. First, I get caught up on the 10-day. My first practice, this man and Q Rich are tangled up.
Yeah.
But KD wasn't dumb. KD was getting his little jabs and then getting out the way.
Yeah,
KD had a
man.
lot of movement, but he would get a couple jabs.
Yeah,
on
hey,
Q
'cause if
wanted
you-
to grab him.
Oh,
Listen.
if he grabbed you, it's over.
Man, have you ever
Listen.
seen a Rottweiler and a Chihuahua? It would have been.
Listen, man. Listen. Man, I am so thankful for everybody who was in that gym. Man, because if Q would have got his hands on me,
Oh, it would have been bad. Hey, bro, I just walked in the gym to my first
damn,
NBA
that was your
practice,
welcome to
bro.
the NBA first practice.
Man,
That
first,
was.
but I was like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
You know me, I was like, all right, cool.
See, but the good thing about that, man, is like, man, we left that shit on the court.
That was cool after
And we, you know, we talked about it, and you know, we was mad at each other for a
Yeah,
little bit,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But then that next year, man, we get out to Phoenix, Q was playing in Phoenix, and Q pulls up and scoops me up, man, and you know what I mean? Like, men, this is the thing about real, authentic friendships and relationships. It's not gonna be all peaches and cream.
Mm-mm.
Sometimes you're gonna butt head, right? But at the end of the day, man, like, that is my brother.
Yeah.
And I love
No
him.
question.
I just hate that was your first practice.
I loved it, to be honest with you. I'm glad no one really got hurt, but you was getting a couple of your little, that's why I said I seen them knuckles work.
No,
You know what
man.
I mean? It was
I'm just
funny.
glad I made it out of that one safe.
Yeah,
You was still with the Clippers in 2003?
2003, yep. I was there. 2000.
Let me actually remember this. I was with the Spurs.
Yeah.
Y'all whole team came to my house.
Yeah, you came through.
Okay, I just
we've been doing this. We've been doing this.
What y'all do?
Smoked out. What you mean?
The whole team.
The whole team. The whole
Man,
team was
Stack.
at my house, bro.
Man, Stack, bro.
I
like,
remember it like yesterday. That was
but-
fun times.
But
I
that
hold
was
on to
early.
That, shit, bro.
That was the one time where you got the test in the preseason. You was good the rest of the year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
good,
yeah. We were still good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yep.
after that one, you was good to go.
Yep.
I remember that.
Yeah, no,
that's
you
type of
did.
memories I hold on to, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to.
Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? That was my boys, man.
You was the ultimate host. You was doing all the smoke before all the smoke. Straight up, but Stack, you always had that impact on us, though. Like,
was
you know,
all
you
love.
always had like an incredible impact. You probably impacted more people than most superstars, right? Because it's not the superstars who spend time and develop you and correct you
Yeah, I
and show
appreciate
you
that.
how to be a real man in the league, right? And stand up for yourself and stand on business. Like, a lot of times those guys have a tough job because they're isolated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
isolated so much from the common everyday. Not saying that you was common.
Just
you
being different.
But you had such an impact on like the whole culture of the game. And most, if you don't have platforms like this, most mainstream media wouldn't even know that.
Yeah,
Or would you even care
You
to
know,
share?
yeah, appreciate
No, he was
you,
great
bro.
at getting people together. I mean, he brought a whole new energy to that Golden State team. Like,
For
he
sure.
was a dude that got us all hanging out. You know what I mean? Like, we're practicing and going to Jack's house and eating and smoking and watching game film.
Yeah.
Like, we wasn't doing that before we got
No,
there. You know what I
no.
mean? So, yeah, he definitely does.
I was just spreading out my burners.
Yeah.
I'm burnt out.
Nah, as soon as he got to the team, he had crusty lips. I knew he smoked. I was like, I'm gonna fuck with bro.
I'm looking in the locker room like,
His
which
shit
one of
was-
these motherfuckers? Ah,
Yeah,
the Mexican.
I seen it.
Hey, just let me go back to LO for a second because I remember. So I started smoking like when I was like 12 years old, and I had never like got high off weed until I smoked California weed.
It's
Yeah,
different.
that's a different story.
And I just remember one night it was me, Lamar, and Wheezy Wilcox, my man, my ace.
Will.
Wilcox.
Wheezy,
Cool.
Wheezy's doing amazing too.
Well, yeah,
got
tell me,
lots
say,
of
you talk to him
going
still?
Oh yeah,
I talk to him
I
too.
talk to him
Yeah,
all the
tell
time.
Wheezy I
He's
said
really
what up.
doing amazing.
That's the homie.
But I just remember we was in SAC and everything was closed. And I remember we called downstairs like, hey man, y'all ain't got no sandwiches or nothing, right? Y'all ain't got no sandwiches. So a little time goes by, I could hear everything. Like I felt like I could hear my heartbeat. I could hear, you know.
This is your first time really getting high?
Yeah, like
Okay.
it was the first time like where like,
Yeah.
you know, like Ice Cube.
It
and,
tapped
like,
in.
Like what?
Yeah.
Oh, like that's how it is. So we was really hungry. So about 20 minutes later, man, Weezy went back to the phone and said, hey man, y'all ain't got no sandwiches or nothing down there.
He sound just like him.
This before Uber, this
Yeah.
before Postmates,
Postmates,
this
none of
before
that
you
shit,
could get
yeah.
delivery or
And you
anything.
know, Sac is one of them cities.
They shut down.
The room
Yeah.
service and all that shit
Yeah,
shut
they
down
shut
early, so
down.
and you get there late after games.
Y'all ain't got no sandwiches or nothing.
Y'all didn't get nothing, huh?
Man, we went to sleep. We smoked good, but we was hungry as a hostage.
Oh,
Man, the
You sound
stories.
just like
The
it.
stories
No,
we
I
had.
already know like that young Clipper team was crazy, but like I said, there was good camaraderie. Everybody
Absolutely.
fucked with each other.
We
you know what I
did.
mean? And everybody was young.
Yeah.
The whole
The
team
whole
was young.
team was young. dog.
And you know what? Everybody went on to have good careers
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
right?
And
Once
do
you
their
put them
own
in a
thing.
good system and get them in the right environment, everybody went on.
Get them
there.
out of that shit, but that shit was fun though.
It was fun. We
had
did
a lot
our
of
thing
fun,
now.
for sure.
Yeah.
2005 Miami Heat, Shaq's first year, D-Wade's second year. You talk about kind of understanding and how to becoming a pro in this environment. Tell me what it was to be able to come back home
Man.
and play for the Heat.
It was a lot of pressure, man. I was on the minimum, and everybody wanted to come to the games, and they weren't giving tickets like that. So it was a lot of pressure.
But
on
you
one
only
hand.
get 4 around that time?
Yeah,
What you got 2 or
yeah.
4?
You was getting 4.
Yeah.
Yep. But, you know, man, that's the good thing about relationships and the Heat culture, right? They understood that. So anytime there was extra tickets or something like that, they would come through, and, you know, teammates used to trade tickets and things like that. But, man, it was fun, man. I learned how to be a pro, you know, and I remember Pat Riley, I wasn't playing initially, and I was kind of pouting, you know what I mean? And I remember having a note to go see Pat. So I'm like, damn, okay, it's like going to see the principal. Like, this is intimidating. So I go up and see Pat, and Pat just tells me, hey, man, look, you know, like, I know, you know, you're not playing. It's not going well for you. But the way you handling it, it's not right. You know what I mean? Your body language in there, you're looking disconnected. Say, man, don't let Coach Van Gundy, you know, see you pouting. Let him see you watching film. Let him see you on the court early. Let him see you cheering. Start sitting up closer by the bench so you can hear the game plan. I guarantee you're going to get your opportunity, and you got to be ready for it. And that happened, man. You know, as a professional, they develop you. As a basketball player, they develop you. And they push you to the brink of, you know, asking yourself, am I doing the right thing?
Do I really love this shit?
Like, we on the track doing what? 8, we had to do 6, was 2 times around. That's the 800.
800, yeah. Six
you had to do
800s?
6 800s for time.
God
and if
damn.
you didn't pass it, you would have to do it again, right? So I just remember like questioning, like, am I doing the right thing here with my life? Like, is this what life is? The humidity in South Florida, I got to do 8 of them. And the guys who are a part of the culture, they doing D-Wade's out there, Eddie Jones out there, Rasul used to run like a deer, Rasul Butler, Udonis, you know, nobody would outwork Udonis, but playing for the Heat, man, changed my life. It really did, man. Like, you know, Spo was our position coach, and you just knew he had superstar written all over him. A lot of people don't like Stan Van Gundy. He's one of my favorite coaches of all time.
X and O's. Great.
Now, he's tough. He's tough as a coach, but, man, what a good man.
Yeah.
You know, you could be honest with him, transparent with him, and he's going to coach you. I remember he wrote in the huddle one time, D-Wade was mad at him. So he drew a star on the whiteboard and tapped the star like 20 times. He said, here it is. You're a star, right? You're a star, and now I can't coach you. You're a star, and I can't coach you. So Stan had smoke for everybody.
Yeah.
He was gonna call you out. He was gonna hold you accountable.
He didn't discriminate.
And, you know, to this day, one of my favorite, him and Doc are probably my favorite coaches that I played for.
Young D Wade.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was like he was Dwyane Wade one day and he was the Flash the next. I mean, you know, what a talent. Like, you know what I mean? Like, mean as a rattlesnake, strong as an ox, you know, so much agility, so much poise. And you would just see him and Spo crafting on his footwork. You know, Spo was like one of the best, like, developmental coaches I've ever seen, like, as far as skill development.
I didn't know that.
Spo was so cold at developing talent, right? I know people, you know, see him as this X and the O's guy and all that, but man,
It
like
started there,
the way that he could teach the game and break it down, and Wade was just crafting. Wade was amazing. He was fun. He was hardworking. He was humble. He was mean. He was tough. I like playing with him more than like playing against him.
Of course. I can imagine. Yeah, he tough, bro.
Yeah, D Wade always made
Shaq, obviously coming off a Laker team where they had a lot of success, and now he's there. I know he was a big joker. Did that shit go off well? And the jokes fly in Miami the way they flew?
Well, maybe not with Pat, but Shaq is always going to be Shaq, right? And Shaq, man, you know, Shaq could talk that shit. Yeah, Shaq was, man, just a great teammate. You know what I mean? Like a larger than life figure that, you know, had a heart of gold. But Shaq taught me a very important lesson, because I used to talk big shit. Like, I'm like, what you wearing? Like, you know what I mean? How you look? Like, whatever your flaw is, I was gonna point it out and I was gonna bring it up to you in a very comedic way. I would talk hella shit. And one day Shaq ain't want to hear that shit. and he just got tired. He like, God damn it, I'm tired of this shit. I'm like, Shaq, we on the plane. You all right? I can't stand this shit. I'm tired of this shit. You fucking thousandaire. I say, oh, I ain't even messing with I said I had to reevaluate, like, you know, my going hard on people after that. I was like, UD was like, man, hey man, I don't like that shit, man. I'm on the minimum too, man. Hey man, big fella, man, your ass ain't gonna never leave Dade County now. Hey, I don't like that shit, big fella. Now I don't know. What a team, man.
Yeah.
Fun experience.
Was Jay Will there with you?
No, I was there the year before they won it all. So it was like Damon Jones and Eddie Jones and D-Wade, Shaq, Udonis. Like, we had a lot of vets. Steve Smith, Christian Laettner.
We talked about that on the way here. You one of the only guys in the NBA to master the Steve Smith move. That's that's my vet.
Oh yeah, Smitty, man. Like, see, growing up in South Florida, we got to see the Heat games. And so, like, when Steve Smith came in the game, you know, down here.
Lock in.
Like, yeah, you got to see him play. And he had this little half spin. And he hit me with it one time. And he was like, uh-oh, young fella. He told me I used to do it a little too fast. I'm like, dude, I ain't 6'8". I gotta be twitchy. You know what I mean? But Steve was a mentor, a friend. You know, just set a good example for us. Just a really, really good man. Just
That's
overall.
my guy. That's my mentor too.
Overall, just a great man.
He taught me to post up as a guard.
Okay.
That's why I learned how to post up as
For
a
sure.
guard.
For sure. Yeah, we didn't want to see you facing up, Stat. They don't even pivot. You don't even play out the triple threat anymore. You don't even get logo post ups.
They make it hard.
It's tough now.
Yeah, it's a whole different ball game. You ended up in the Celtics in 2012. Paul Pierce, KG, Rondo. How was that?
Man, it was amazing, man.
Ray Allen.
Playing with the Celtics, you know, obviously the Celtics is a prestigious organization. It's something about, you know what I mean, when you go in that arena, you know what I mean, that's different and unique. And when you go to other arenas, you know, Celtics fans are everywhere.
Yeah.
But man, KG, I wish I would have got to play with him earlier because, like, he unlocked something in you like nobody else, man. He was a sensei. You know what I mean? As far as giving himself to the game, he did the same thing, the same way, the same time, every game, every practice. And he would get himself ready to play like no other. He's a perfectionist. You know what I mean? From the way he watched Family Guy before the game, before the way, you know, he go get in the steam room before the game, the way he, you know, blessed the environment before he get on the court. Like, he was systematically, he would do the same thing the same way every day. And, man, that was just a great experience. I love playing with the Celtics. It was my favorite experience in basketball was playing with the Celtics. It was a real brotherhood. It was like no other.
That year, you got to see the King in rare form, Game 6.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through that?
I mean, I try and forget about it. But, you know, I know, right? It's like he was like hypnotized almost, like, you know what I mean? But
look at his face right there, though.
You know?
He looked possessed right there.
You know, and it was like, man, Ticket was doing everything to try and get him off his game. Every time he walked, like, you know, bumping into him, nigga out, like everything Ticket could do. And man, we would just go back and just like we couldn't do nothing. We just couldn't do nothing with him. But like, you have, like, great players have to have those kind of moments.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? Because it's something different about them. Yeah. Like, because all of us are talented. We can all run, jump, shoot, hoop, or whatever. But like the superstars, they have another level of getting to the zone and then being able to dwell there. Mm-hmm. And he's done it for so long. Man, that was a long, we thought we was going to the finals. I mean, that was an opportunity to close them out. We had been, you know, playing very well. We had them Game 6. We were up 3-2. And the man, like, just had a legacy game.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a legacy game.
I know that was a fun team. You recall any fun moments with that squad?
I mean, you know, like,
a story
every
you could tell?
family, you know, has its feuds, right?
Yeah.
And there was some tension internally, you know, with some of the guys, but I don't know, man. I think, you know, I think some of those stories is meant for them to tell.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha. I respect that.
But let's just say, you know what I mean, you know, Ray and Rondo, you know what I mean? Like, they had great feel for each other on the court, but like, just from a personality standpoint, they just kind of.
Is that when they boxed? I wasn't talking about. I'm talking about like fun stories.
Oh,
like
okay.
Going out like Club Shiznit or any of the stuff with Paul. We work with them. We know how burnt out they are.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
About, like, I knew that was a fun team.
We had some nights. You know what I mean? We had some nights, like, but that was the lockout year. So we was playing back to backs.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, and so like a big part of us, getting together was like going out to hookah lounge, going to eat, you know what I mean? Getting together at each other's cribs and shit like that. But like, no crazy story.
Okay.
You got into a fight with Ray Allen?
Man, I ain't getting all these fights like y'all saying, man. Nah, me and Ray, we got tangled up. Like back in our days, we used to
Compete.
Yeah, like, the game was physical, so it was a lot of...
Oh, nah, that wasn't you. That wasn't the average, though, y'all.
Yeah.
How'd that start?
You dumped him?
Well, Ray hit me with the elbow.
Oh, yeah, trying to stop on that screen. Trying to stop on that screen, get separated.
You locking on that shoulder and you chasing because you're coming off 3 staggers.
Yeah, right there.
And he stopped and he hit me with that elbow.
Boom.
Yeah, we
And
not
trying to
having
get a
that.
foul, yep.
Yeah, and then, it just spilled over into the crowd. I got 5 games probably because I ran to the locker room after.
Oh, you trying to finish it?
Yeah, I mean...
You threw a nice one, too. It was quick, too. Well, they grabbed you. Plastic Man. No, he got you back.
But it was really Stacy's fault, though, that we got in the fight, because Stacy hit him
on
in the
way
face.
down. Yeah, on the way down.
OG
I remember
Stacy
hearing about that. Yeah.
hit him in the face, right?
But it wasn't even on purpose, though. Was it on purpose?
No, it wasn't on
just
purpose.
clipped him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Stacy hit him, but, he hit me. It's like, eeny, meeny, miny, you.
But Stacy the first one over there, too. Stacy the first one over there, too.
Hey, Stace pulled Ray, right? Stace pulled him out. He pulled him, put him in the full nails. He be like, get his ass, young fella. Get his ass, young fella. So I go to the locker room. I'm cussing their ass out. I'm like, bro, don't y'all never let nobody grab me if I'm fighting somebody. Grab them. Like, don't grab me.
Yeah, that's how you get teed.
That's law.
That's how you get teed off on. They got your arms, you just...
Oh, man. I
Yeah.
did run to the bag.
Oh, you was trying to get him after here.
There you go. Don't grab me. That's what you tell them right there. Don't grab me when something happens.
That's that untreated trauma.
Yeah.
That's what that was right there.
Oh, shit.
You opened up on how instrumental Doc Rivers and Dany Ainge were when you were battling your mental health demons. Can you share some of those stories?
Yeah, man. I mean, I spoke about it earlier. I spent 4 days in a mental institution, and here's the thing about like this game, behind the game, right? That's why what you guys do is so important, because it's these what people see and then what really happens.
Right.
Doc Rivers came to see me every day while I was in the mental institution. Every single morning, Doc, I'm just coming. We ain't gonna leave you alone. Yeah, I'll be here for you. Doc, and that little one bow leg, he was there every day to come and see me. Simultaneously, Dany was going to our house in Wellesley to check on my family. And so when you talk about what makes organizations different, it's not just the aesthetics. It's the infrastructure. It's the people, you know what I mean, that create the heat culture or the Celtics mantras and stigma. And Dany Ainge and Doc Rivers, are 2 of the best men our game has ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Love to hear it. What do the next few years look like for you?
Oh, man.
Getting back into the thing. Get back into the swing of things.
I got to get back to it.
We might have some work for you over here if you want to come fuck with us.
Man, I need that work, man.
Yeah.
I have some gifts, right? You know what I mean? Like, I've always had a gift to speak, to communicate, to inspire, to motivate. And so I'm going to stay true to that. I'm doing a documentary on this experience because I think it's best we tell our own stories and
Control your own narrative.
you control the narrative, but like in an authentic way. And so, I'm going to push out the documentary. And, me and Trevor have been, kind of having some conversations about some things that we can do. But I'm going to be around the game one way or another. I thank God for my buddy Stan Remy from Remy Workouts, because while I was at the halfway house, I got to work on the court with NBA players every day and work with the youth every day. And I know there's a certain rhythm and cadence that I'm able to, unlock in hoopers. And then I think there's a certain wisdom from our experience that I'm able to help them avoid a lot of things. And so the next few years for me, man, I'm really gonna focus on, creating content, pushing out this docuseries, contributing to the game of basketball, right? In a number of different ways, right? But more so than anything with that as well is like the prison reform. You know what I mean? And it's not like just a reform. It's just like when I was down, we had no speakers that looked like me that came through, right? And I think there's a demographic in that
There was
system
a lot of people that look like you in there.
that's being ignored, somewhat neglected, and I say that in the nicest way possible, and isolated. And so, because I went through this experience, I'm forever a felon, right? And I have a platform and I have a voice to bring up, some of the things that go on so you can help, provoke change in a positive way. It's not a judgment thing because everything was not bad there, right? Everything was not bad, but there's room for improvement in that system. And so, yeah, man, I'm locked in for that, man, and I'm here for it. And I'm looking forward to the next phase of life. Yeah. And like at the end of the day, Matt, I'm gonna stand 10 toes down. I'm not the same me. I'm a different version of me right now because I don't give a fuck as much as I used to as far as how people view me.
Right.
Or what, somebody's image of me is. I can care less because I know who I am now and I know what I can endure. Right, and I also know what I have to avoid.
You went on a long journey to find that person.
Yes, sir.
Welcome. I've been there.
Yeah.
I know.
What about Big Three?
Oh, so yeah, that's the question I had to ask my brother.
Oh,
Yeah.
You look like you're in great shape.
Yeah, I'm still dunking.
If you thinking about coming back in the game, the Big Three would love to have you.
Okay, well, I received that.
And we'll talk about it.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
Love.
I need a little cut of that. I need something.
Yes, sir. Never not working, baby.
Well, quick hitters, before we get you out of here, one piece of advice you would give your younger self.
The piece of advice that I would give my younger self is, I think I would have got my relationship with the Lord better, right? And tried to follow the teachings of my faith a little bit more. I wish I would have been honest about, some of the things that I experienced so that I could have dealt with them along the way. A lot of times when you don't deal with things along the way, other habits and things come because you're masking and you're hurting and you're avoiding certain things. And so I would have done my work earlier and I would have tried more to, be in alignment with my faith.
Kind of off script, but the woman behind you, they held you down through all this.
Absolutely.
What about her?
Man, you know what? Me and Tosh go back. We got together when we were 16 years old. And, we got 4 beautiful kids together. And every step of the way, she's been, right here for me. And the good thing about relationships and things like that, man, hey, they're not always perfect. They're not always peaches and cream. You're going to have highs and lows. Lord knows I made a shitload of mistakes along the way, right? Mm-hmm. And, through it all, through it all, the ups, the downs, the trials, the tribulations. And because we've been together so long, it's really all we know. And so in this process, there was a time where we had to take some space and evaluate, hey, is this where we want to be? We've been doing this thing for 20 plus years. We're all each other knows. It's a lot going on right now. And I couldn't do anything but respect that part, right? Because at the end of the day, you have to make your bed, you have to sleep in it. But man, God is so good, man. And love is kind, love is patient, love is forgiveness. And, we found it in our hearts to, say that it's better for us to be together. We're better together. Our kids are stronger when we're together. You know what I mean? We still love each other like we youngsters. When I look at my babe, I look at her and I see, myself. I see my children, different versions of my children's face in her. And I just love her, man. That's my girl.
Shout out to you.
That's my girl. That's my
I
babe.
love it. Go ahead, Jack.
One album on repeat.
Right now, I can't stop with that K Dot right now, boy. Dot, not enough. I can't stop, man. Dot don't disappoint.
He on fire
bro.
right now.
Kendrick, dog, I don't know, man. It's something about the way that he raps and the content that he creates that I feel in my spirit. Mm-hmm. It's
it's substance.
Man. So I got that Dot on repeat right now.
5 dinner guests, dead or alive. You plus 5 at a dinner table. Food great, environment great. Who are you sitting around that table with?
Man, you know what, man? One of my favorite people, if not my favorite man in history, you know, besides Jesus, right, is my pops. And I really miss my dad. And if I could sit down and have dinner with my pops, we'll talk plenty of shit, right? And so I miss my dad. I would love to sit down with him. My wife always invited to my table, so I ain't gonna never, you know, have a table and she can't be at it. But man, you know, like some of my favorite people, man, it's like I love Deion Sanders.
Prime.
Yeah, man, like, you know, Deion Sanders is.
You got a chance to know Deion?
No.
Oh, we got to
He's a
connect
Florida
that.
boy.
Yeah,
we got
y'all would be real cool.
Yeah, man, Deion is.
We'll connect that for
Deion
you.
is such an inspiration. I would have to say, you know, Malcolm X, brother. But that man, you know, just reading some of his books and hearing some of his speeches, and you know, his command of the language and his toughness and his sternness, unbelievable. And you know, last but not least, I'll say, you know, President Obama. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, you know, President Obama is somebody I always felt like if you can, you know, sit at a table with him, you know what I mean? He's like one of the few people who make everybody kind of blush. It's like, damn, that's Barack over there. So those would be like the people I like to sit down with.
Best Florida raised athlete of all time.
Oh, that's very easy. Prime.
Very prime.
Yeah, prime time.
No
You know what I'm
question.
saying? It ain't even. You ever seen him windmill? Like you go back and see him in those dunk contests.
Yeah.
Like
Him and
Deion
Andre
Sanders
Rising.
is like the greatest athlete maybe of all time.
Him and Bo Jackson.
Yeah, man. You know, like prime.
If it was one guest that you would like to see on All the Smoke, who would it be?
But
You have to help us get your answer on the show.
Okay. All right. Man, you guys do such great work, and y'all, like, the environment is so relaxing. Who would I love to see come on this show? Have y'all had Mello yet?
yeah.
Yeah, I've had Mello.
Guaranteed.
Okay. Yeah, let me think
Oh
about
yeah,
it.
where's Weezy at?
I
Weezy in
got
Where's he
Weezy
at?
over in Carolina.
He
in
in
Charlotte.
Carolina?
Charlotte.
Yeah, let me, man, most people don't know this, man. Chris Wilcox is an amazing businessman.
Bro,
He's got so much
I want to let him tell it because he got with the Indian
cracking?
reservation and stuff. He got
Man, and
smart dude, bro.
Yeah, man.
Good dude.
Shout out Spoon too. Spoon with him.
Yeah, Spoon.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Wilcox would be somebody,
Yeah.
you know, obviously a national champion, played a long time, went through the heart issues, and so, you know, had to face, you know, morality, you know, in a sense. But yeah, Chris Wilcox would be somebody pretty cool that y'all could deal with.
The old school I had in the Bay, he bought it from me.
Did he?
And he tricked it out. Yeah, I'm looking good.
Hey man, we love you.
Man,
I love
man,
you.
I love you too, man.
I appreciate
always
you.
will, always have.
Congratulations,
Yes, sir. I love you,
As
big
always.
homie.
I
You
feel like
already know,
I
man.
feel like
Nothing
you know
changes.
the best is yet to come for you, bro.
Absolutely.
You've always been, and the reason why you've messed up in the past, and I even before we started talking, I'm like, nah, you tell your side because you've always been stand up, and your heart has always
Thank
been in
you,
the
brother.
right place. You just slipped up a few times, but to
Absolutely.
be able to address the childhood trauma and everything that came from it, and have that humility to accept responsibility and better yourself, the doors are going to open back open in a matter of time,
Well,
bro. So I'm glad you was able to fuck with us.
Thank you so much for having me, man. All
Yeah.
the smoke. Next time I come on All the Smoke, I should be on probation. And it'll literally be All the Smoke.
Oh my God. You can catch this on All the Smoke Productions YouTube and the DraftKings Network. We'll see y'all next time.